with Kip's Corner. Welcome back, and if you're new to my channel, welcome. In my last video, I I did a flip through of a slow stitched journal that I had made, fabric covered, soft cover, with weaved patterns. And in that video, I announced that I was going to do another one. And my second one is going to be a giveaway for when my channel reaches 2,000 subscribers. I'm 100 and some odd away from that. And so I thought I'd better get started on it and dive right into the second one while the first one was still fresh in my memory. It was very much a first for me, and I don't know that I did anything right, but it turned out well, and I was happy with the result, and ultimately that's really all that matters, is to have fun, enjoy what you're doing, and this was very enjoyable for me. So this one is going to be purples, and the inside is going to be a botanical themed. So I've got fabrics here. I think there's 5 or 6 different fabrics, and they all have florals on them, and not all of them. The plaid doesn't, and the solid doesn't, but several of them have florals on them in purple colors. This with the small flowers on it, and the one with the black background I got from Michelle Scott. Her Facebook page is Journaling with 1L. Check it out. Michelle will do live sales periodically, and those came from there. Anyway, okay, so let me start with, and I'll tell you where some of the other stuff came from. But anyway, beautiful fabrics. I think they all work together, and so this is my start. To begin with, I used a piece of, this is a piece of fleece. It was in a big bundle that I got on a clearance, and it's just a white fleece. Batting would work. You could use anything of this sort as your base. And this will ultimately, there'll be 2 layers of this on the inside, one connected to the front cover and one connected to the inside cover, and then the 2 will get merged together at the end. So, or not at the end, but at the end of the cover process. Okay, so then what I did is I took all of the fabric pieces that I had that I wanted to use and cut them into strips. The strips are varying widths. I didn't measure, and I didn't cut them actually. I ripped them into strips. They're between 1 1/4 inch, 1 1/4 inch, and I don't think any of them are over 2 inches except for the fat piece in the middle. The fat piece in the middle, it's a very short piece. You can see that's all I had, and it is my spine. That's where my spine will fold. And so I wanted a little bit of a wider piece there. And so, yeah, so I just ripped them into strips, made a big pile. I still have a big pile over here that you cannot see out of camera. And then I laid them down, starting with the left, and I laid down my horizontal strips, getting them to fit, mix and matching, to where I was pleased with the overall look. And from the height of my pre-cut felt piece here, fleece piece, batting, whatever you're using, I just started pinning. I started with all of the horizontal strips. After that, I began weaving the vertical strips. So I started on the left, started with this black piece, and the first piece I did in over, under all the way. And the last piece, well, no, not quite. Then from there, I started creating different patterns, not strictly over, under, otherwise this would look like a checkerboard. So this is over 1, under 1, over 2, under 1, and just weaved them. And then this one is only going under one of the strips. So just played around with weaving them, laying them out, getting them to where the width hits nicely. I think when I got to the end, I had to re-tear. I had a fatter piece of this black, and I had to thin it down just a little bit because it was going to go over my edge. Okay, the next step after, and each time I put a strip on, I pinned it. You can see I've got pins all the way around, and those pins will stay on here until I'm done. And what I did before is as I get done with an individual patch or area that I'm sewing on, then I'll take the pin out, and that kind of helps me know what else I have to do too. From there, I selected my threads. 20 some odd, I don't even know how many years ago, when my grandmother passed away, she was an avid sewer and also a crafter and a very artistic person. And I received her, she had a bunch of DMC threads. These two were from her. So these threads are, I don't even know how old, probably 40 years old. They've been around a while. And then I had a project or two that I'd worked on when my kids were really little. So let's see, 25 years ago, where I was doing some cross stitching. And so I had some threads left over from that. And so I basically pulled all of the embroidery threads that I had and selected 3 colors that I thought were complementary. So I've got a deep, sort of an olive green, this, maybe I would call that lavender, and then this beige that has a tiny bit of green tint to it. So they all work really nicely together, and they're all in the same family. 3 is my magic number. I like 3 thread colors. I think it concerns me if I get more than that it'll start looking not tied together. And if I'm only using 1 color or 2 colors, I don't have as much freedom to do things inside each one of the patches or squares that I work on. So 3 is my magic number. Doesn't mean that that's the only way to do it by any means. I'm just explaining what I've done. Okay, from there, so these are the 3 colors I will use throughout the entire project, thread-wise. Then from there, I had this beautiful trim. It's from Crafty Me Shop on Facebook. She does live Facebook sales and sells laces and trims and ribbons and fabrics and oh my. And as a matter of fact, this piece and this piece, this is 2 different pieces that are wove in and out together. It's this trim. It's beautiful little flowers, and then this trim that has this nice wide piece in the middle, and I just intertwined those, and that's here. So these 3 pieces are all from Crafty Me Shop on Facebook. So I didn't want this trim, and here's the whole piece. I didn't want to use this trim as one of my strips, but I wanted it on here. Not only is the color perfect, but it's a flower and it's really pretty, and it's actually, I think it's a rose. Yeah, roses. And so I just cut 2 small pieces. Anything I do, I duplicate, or sort of. As a general rule of thumb, whatever I do in one area, I'm going to duplicate so that the piece is balanced. I don't know if that makes sense or not, but I'm trying to explain. So I have a piece here and a piece here, and I've started sewing, and I'm just tacking this on like you would a patch. I'm just going around the outside edge here and tacking this on, and then that piece will be done and it'll be on there. And I'm not going to go through and sew this on camera, but you get the idea. So once I do sew this first one on, then I'll sew the second one on, and then those 2 pieces will be down, and that'll be one tiny, tiny piece done. And then I'll move on to the next one. And basically what I did last time was I worked kind of left to right. In this case, and I've got these all folded under, but that's not a good idea because I don't want to tack them down yet. In this case, I'll sew both of these on and then they're done. And then I'll probably focus attention over here in this 1/3 quadrant on the left, and then we'll do, not quadrant, but section, and then I'll focus attention towards the middle, and then I will finish up on the front cover. I've got some ideas for the front cover. I got this beautiful rose pin. It's a brooch pin at an estate sale. I have no idea how old it is, but I'm going to paint this purple, and then put some wax on, some silver wax on top, which should help tie in the silver on this ribbon. And I think she's gonna go right about there on the front cover. I know it doesn't pop yet, but perhaps next video I do on this project, perhaps that will be done and ready to lay on top of there and at least show you what she's gonna look like. So will be a focal point on my front cover, like the scissors were on the front cover of the other piece, if that helps make sense. Okay, I've babbled enough. Beginning of the project, we're just getting started. And from here, like I said, I'll just decide what to do or what's going to happen in each one of these spaces. There'll be buttons, there'll be metal pieces, there'll be stitching, there'll be different kinds of stitching, all very simple stitches, mind you, because this is not my forte at all. But yeah, that's what I'm doing. And that's where we are. So more to come later. Meanwhile, thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate it. And I'll be back. Bye-bye.